The Pentagon is admitting today that 450 Americans remain stranded in Afghanistan. Joining us now to discuss how we get them out is Florida Congressman Michael Waltz, U.S. Army National Guard Colonel, and Green Beret, who served in Afghanistan and had the pleasure of serving with me in Congress. Michael, welcome to Kudlow.
Hey, good to be with you, Sean.
All right, so 450 Americans stranded in Afghanistan. Now, I think if I go back to just early September, the State Department said that there was only 100 Americans stranded in Afghanistan. We've been getting people out over the course of the last couple of months. Has the State Department been lying to us about how many people are stranded in Afghanistan?
Yeah, Blinken said only 100. Biden said only 100. And Austin testified under oath only 100. But they always put this little qualifier in there, Sean, that said that wanted to leave. And I've been repeatedly asking, like, show me all of these other Americans that didn't want to leave. Of course, they wouldn't be willing to leave their old family behind. And if they stayed behind to protect their family, that doesn't mean they don't want to leave. So they've been playing these word games and misleading the American people. Well, all of us veterans that served there knew it. And thank God for these grassroots veterans organizations who have sprung up to do what the State Department and the Defense Department should have been doing, and that's getting people out. I just talked to one yesterday who just got their 8th flight of not only Americans but our allies out because the Taliban are hunting them down as we speak.
So, Michael, but it's a really good point because, I mean, you know the American military. If they're set loose and put their mind to anything, they would get every single American out. But it seems like the Biden administration isn't making this a priority. Is that it, or what's the problem to get Americans out of Afghanistan?
Yeah, the Defense Department could do it. They just need the authority. They need the green light from the White House. With the White House, let's be honest, they want to turn the page on this debacle. They want to move on. They want to spend, our grandchildren's money on this socialist spending program, and they want us to forget about it. But those of us that served know that you never leave an American behind. It's un-American to leave our fellow citizens behind, and it's un-American to let terrorists dictate the terms of who we get out and when we get them out. So you have that piece, but then the other thing they're lying about, Sean, is that we're just as safe from a counterterrorism standpoint. Yet the #3 Pentagon official says yesterday, behind closed doors, of course, that ISIS-K will be capable of attacking America again in just 6 months. But here's the thing. We have no bases, no local allies. We rely on Pakistan now, which is supporting the terrorists, for access for our drones to fly over. I mean, we have nothing there to keep these terrorists at bay. We're on a road to another 9/11. And it's the same crew that did this in Iraq that led to the ISIS caliphate. They're doing the same thing in Afghanistan. And I don't want to wait until we have more attacks on the homeland before they get off their rear end to do something about it.
You know what you say, that leaving an American behind is un-American. Socialism is un-American. Two things that this administration is doing and supporting. But you said, and it's interesting, that the administration talks about the number of Americans that actually want to leave. Well, the World Food Program director said that there's 23 million people in Afghanistan who are starving.
Yeah.
They want $250 million in aid to just help feed Afghanis who may lose their lives to starvation. Of course, Americans want to leave a starving country. My question for you, though, is, Michael, should we be giving humanitarian aid in the form of, food subsidies to save lives in Afghanistan, or does that just embolden and help the Taliban?
Look, I think if there's ways that it can go directly to the individuals, and there are verification mechanisms to do that directly to the people, but that's often not how this works. They just release it, into government coffers and then rely on them to distribute. And that's the case. Look, the Taliban, the Haqqani network have a long history, just like the cartels down in Central America and Mexico, of siphoning off aid to enrich themselves. The other pieces at play are billions of dollars of foreign assets that are held in the reserve in New York, that are held in Europe, that the Taliban also want released to prop up their economy. And look, the administration says they have that to use as leverage, then use it. How about you stop killing our allies, you stop treating women badly, you stop letting your people starve, and you release Americans that you're holding hostage. So it's a whole lot of talk. If they have that as leverage, then use it, and see if these terrorists will actually try to behave a little bit better. I'm doubtful, but use what leverage you got.
You know, I am too. Instead of feeding hungry Afghanis, I think we're going to be feeding terrorists, to your point. Congressman, listen, by the way, it looks like you have a new haircut. It looks good on you. So thank you for getting a cut for today's show, and thanks for joining me on Cuddle. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Sean.